welcome back to Emotional Mojo. Our next guest is amazing, okay? She calls herself the transition entrepreneur who has a unique knack for helping others change, transition, and emerge. Welcome, author, motivational speaker, and coach, Daniela Gabrielle. Daniela, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here today.
Transition entrepreneur. What the heck does that mean?
I like that.
Everybody always asks me that, and I like the shock factor when you meet people because it's a lot more fun than saying, I do branding, marketing, and life coaching. And so for me, a transition entrepreneur, I have several different business endeavors that I do, and they're all based into transition. So I found that for me, when I looked at my career, when I looked at my personal life, one of my strengths was transition. I didn't like going into a job where everything was already okay. I wanted to go where it was a mess or where it was not existing and start and make those changes. And in my life, it was the same way. When everything was going good, then I would go and just mess it all up and start all over again. So that's my strength. So I'm in the business of creating products and developing things, solutions for people to help them change transition.
So you like chaos. That's okay, though.
Yes, I love chaos.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But you know what? The people who don't create it for themselves, but they find themselves in a position where maybe their jobs become boring or their relationship is stale, you know, and they need some change. Could this relate to them as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Even if you want that security, sometimes we still need to grow and change. So even the most secure person has to be able to take that next step, or you'll never get to the next level in life.
Well, and I'm thinking of, remember that old school book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes, that was
remember
one of
that?
my
It's like, you know, it's about dealing with change, and you're
Yes.
like, I want my cheese all over the place,
Exactly,
right? Because that's what
exactly.
keeps life exciting, too.
It does, it does. And sometimes I am that cheese for people. I come into their lives or come into their organizations and where they are kind of moving, you know, steadily and shake it up and say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you looked at these opportunities? Let's go to the next level.
Think outside the box.
Right, absolutely.
David, do you find that this is an issue with a lot of people that you counsel?
I love the concept of transition because we're in the flux. We're always in constant transition.
Right.
I had a question for you because I wanted to know, how do you work with someone who's afraid of that transition? Let's say someone who's in their 50s.
Because people are afraid of change.
And they're afraid of making that first step. What do you do to help someone get over that edge?
That's a good question, and it's funny because everybody is afraid of change. There's no one, even myself, I'm always afraid of change. I'm always scared when I'm doing something new. And the biggest thing that I tell people is do it afraid. Joyce Meyer always says that. Do it afraid. So yes, it may be uncomfortable, but we usually sit down and write down, what will I gain by making the change?
Instead of
What
looking at
will
the
I
negative.
lose? Yeah, what will I gain and what will I lose? And we'll see that usually our gain is so much greater than the things that we're gonna let go of.
Okay, so let's get into some tips then, because you've developed this Personal Marketing Institute. Tell us about the School of You, YOU.
The School of You is our Personal Marketing Institute. YOU stands for Your Opportunities for Upgrade. And so with that, what we do is we work on helping people to develop their professional brand or their personal brand. So it's tapping in, finding out what's your purpose, what do you feel like you're called to do or created to do, and then creating a roadmap. How do I get there?
Stop for a second. Your opportunities for upgrade.
Right.
I love that. You said it so quickly. I just wanted it to sink in for people.
Yes.
Like, it's an opportunity to upgrade your life a little bit. I like that.
Yes, that's perfect. Let me upgrade you.
Don't worry about it, no big deal.
Love to go to the next level.
What do you think is the biggest mistake people make when they decide, okay, my life is stale, my job kind of sucks right now, but what, and they try to make a change, but they go about it the wrong way?
I think that there's no wrong or right way to change. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that people feel like I have to go X, Y, or Z, or it's not gonna happen right. Every person is different, everyone's path is different, and we have to embrace our own path. And that's been the biggest thing, is not being afraid to take your path.
Okay. So we had said earlier that you have this motto, because you've written a new book, and it says, big mouth, big dreams. Where did that inspiration come from, and what does that mean?
I'm a big mouth.
I love it.
I'm talking about from kindergarten all the way up to high school. My report card always says, talks too much.
Look at you now.
Got me in trouble. I know, I'm finally living and using it for my good. But I was always told, you're too loud, you talk too much, you say too many things, you're too transparent. And it was always told to me that it was a negative thing. And so therefore, it always worked against me. And finally, I realized, wait, you know, I discovered that there were principles that if I would be a big mouth, that I could get to my big dream. And so the book really helped me to embrace the fact that, you know what, I can have my big dream, and I'm gonna use my big mouth to talk about it. So I learned how to make positive confessions, I learned how to ask for the help that I needed, and I learned to be okay that it's all right to have a big dream.
Wow.
I love that.
You kind of have to reframe, because I think a lot of times, you know, and people may mean well when they give you advice or tell you what your strong suits are and what your weak spots are. but you do have to come to a place where you can look at it on your own
Exactly.
and say, I believe you or I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Now, you said that when you were a child, the big mouth got you in trouble. And I believe that a lot of times the things that tend to set us back are the things that's supposed to promote us.
Yes.
How do you help people to see that the way that you do?
Exactly the way I did. We look at the things. I usually ask people to write a list of what are the things that you got teased the most for, the things that people picked on you for the most for, and then looking at those things and seeing how they can make you better and move you forward. Like mine was, you're too loud and you're over the top.
So use that
Yes.
weakness
Yes.
How
to
can
be
I
a
do
strength.
Yes, I'm extra. That's what my family calls me. I'm extra.
Extra.
But I've learned that that's what makes me a great person.
Yeah.
And usually the things that we
Embrace it.
are so good at, or the things that make us unique, are the things that should move us forward. But instead, people don't know how to embrace it, so therefore we fall into what other people
good.
think.
So if people want more advice or they want to check out your books, where can they go to get more?
My website, DanielaGabrielle.com.
Okay.
And so they can check it out there. We have everything available
Awesome.
for them.
Thank you so much for your advice. We're going to have you stick around and play a game of yes, no. You want to play?
Sounds
All right,
good.
we're going to give you a
Yes.
sign.
Card.
Yay.
So here's the first story. Last week, you guys may remember Boston Red Sox slugger David Ortiz took an epic photo, okay? That may be the last presidential selfie we see for a long time because White House senior advisor Dan Pfeiffer may end all photos at the White House. Now, you may remember he basically was at a press conference and he was with President Obama and he said, let's take a selfie. So he took a picture. Well, later people found out Ortiz just happens to have an agreement with Samsung, who is the phone he used to promote the company's phone. So a lot of people think he purposely used the president to help promote a phone company. So I want to know, though, do you guys think this is really that big a deal? Should we end presidential selfies because of this incident?
Hands down.
No, I don't think so.
No, we all agree. What do you guys think? I mean, you don't think he was using the president in any way?
Well, yeah, I think he was using the president, but I think that it's what makes the president
Relatable.
relatable
Yeah.
and real is that he does that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and this is the selfie generation.
Exactly.
So 5 years from now, those who are in high school will be voting.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we remain relatable with the people that's going to be voting for us.
What do
So-
you think about the whole thing?
I think it's totally unfair if they get rid of it because it takes away the moment for everyone else. Yeah, he did. He used it
Yeah.
for his own gain.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what about all the other people who are going to want to take selfies with the president?
Well, and honestly, and
I want
I don't know
myself.
if it's just me, but I think we kind of understand the way marketing works now. Like when I
Right.
saw Ellen do that at the Oscars, I immediately thought, who's the phone company? Because she shows the phone. Like I don't, whether it's intentional or not, I think people know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so a New York man learned the hard way that a text message can seal your fate in court. Louis Billetier broke up with his bride-to-be via text message. And when his girlfriend replied angrily, he texted back, well, you get to keep a $50,000 parting ring, enough for a down payment on a house. Being a little
Nice.
smarty.
Wow.
Well, when he decided he did want the ring back and sued for it, a state Supreme Court judge said the ring is no longer involved in a marriage contract, but was now a parting gift. What do you think? Should jilted brides-to-be get to keep their engagement rings? Heck yes.
I'm going to say yes on this one.
I mean, it
Are
was
you
a
going to
gift.
disagree?
say yes on this one.
Why
Why do
should
you
we
say
give the
no?
rings back?
I think that in this situation, I think it was fair. You know, he
Okay.
said it was a parting gift, and then you had
But in
it.
general?
But in general, I think no. And I've been engaged before, and I've had some really pretty rings, and I've given them back, and I've parted with them because I feel like giving a ring back is that last parting thing that allows you to emotionally let go
Sure.
of the
I feel like it's a
relationship.
gift.
Yeah.
You give me a ring, I'm keeping it.
Well, the
Sorry.
word for me was jilted. That's
Yeah.
what made me say yes. But
All
I
right.
agree with you, though.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much,
Thank
Daniela
you for having
Gabrielle,
me.
you guys. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Find out why the higher-ups at Microsoft added a 5-year-old to their new list of security researchers. Details on the pint-sized hacker when we return.